Where is the Hotel California? Hotel California is the greatest hit of legendary folk rock band The Eagles. It has famously mysterious lyrics. It's told from the perspective of a man who finds himself in a bizarre, surreal hotel.
Welcome to the Hotel California,
from which he ultimately discovers he cannot escape.
You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Seemingly a place lost in time.
Any time of year, you can find it here.
Full of oddball staff and beautiful guests.
Such a lovely face.
The well-crafted lyrics imply an ambiguous and deeper meaning.
Mirrors on the ceiling, they pink champagne on ice, and she said, we are all just prisoners here of our own device.
Many have speculated that perhaps the song refers to an actual hotel song. Others theorize the hotel is either hell or purgatory.
And I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven and this could be hell.
Some speculate it is a place that exists within the mind of the song's protagonist, or that the song is an abstract metaphor that doesn't refer to a location at all.
Some dance to remember, some dance to forget.
I, however, have my own suspicions. Perhaps the song isn't about a hotel in California, but instead a house someplace in New Orleans.
They call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. In God, I know I'm one.
That's right. I think Hotel California is inspired by what may very well be the earliest folk rock song in history. The Animals' 1964 cover of The House of the Rising Sun is considered by many to be the earliest folk rock hit. But it's far from the earliest version of the song. This song depicts a person's life gone wrong in New Orleans, trapped by their gambling addiction in a mysterious house or brothel where they wallow out their days. Before the Animals, it was Bob Dylan, known for the standard folk version of the song.
There is a house down in New Orleans they call the rising sun.
Told from the perspective of a woman, recorded in 1962.
Been the ruin of many poor girls, and me, oh God, I'm a one.
But before him there were countless others. Lead Belly notably recorded a version of the song in 1944.
There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun,
which was titled In New Orleans. At this point, the song still didn't have a real official title, and the earliest known recorded version of the song is by Clarence Tom Ashley.
they are a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun.
In 1933. It tells the story from the perspective of a male rambler.
Where many poor boys to destruction has gone, and me, oh God, are one.
He claims to have gotten the song from his grandparents, and that it's, quote, too old to talk about. The earliest written version of the song that we have today is from 1925. It's simply titled Rising Sun, and again, it's from the perspective of a poor woman. The melody of the song is by some historians linked to, or maybe even a progression, of folk tunes from the 1800s. Some songs that it's theorized to be linked to even date back to the 1600s, if you can believe it.
I was walking down by there one day. What should I spy but one of my comrades?
A handful of real bars, pubs, brothels, breakfast houses, and other such real locations have been considered to be the inspiration for the song. But others believe the House of the Rising Sun not to be a place but a metaphor. A metaphor for being trapped in your vices and your addiction, lost in a mysterious and shaggy place from which you cannot escape. And with that, we come back to Hotel California, a further evolution of what may be one of the oldest folk songs remembered to this day, and one that has become an iconic radio hit in its own right.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
Where's the Hotel California? I don't know. California, probably. You're watching Riggerman Foods, and today we'll be making pulled pork, inspired by the Eagles' greatest hits. So first you're going to want to pull out your pork, of course. I use pork shoulder. You're going to want to have this nice and defawed. You're also going to want to use a crock pot at low heat. And for our braising liquid, which you're going to cook this in, we are going to just use cider. So I have here an apple cider and a blueberry apple cider. Those apple flavors are going to pair excellently with the pork. The blueberry flavor will just add some diversity of flavor to it as well. There I go, pouring in the blueberry cider on top of the previously poured in apple cider. Now I'm going to pour in some apple cider vinegar as well. This will penetrate the meat further, give it extra flavor, and increase the apple flavor, which again is what we're really trying to pair with the pork here. We're going to put the pork in now with that, and to cover it, I'm just going to use a big pineapple ragler. Then we're going to cut up 3 colored peppers and pour that in. Place those in as well, not pour them in. Put them into braising fluid, have those cook along with the pork. They'll get really nice, tender, and delicious. They'll absorb a lot of the cooking liquid, and they'll be great. We're also going to cut up an onion here and put that in just in rings and slices. Looks real nice. Those onions will add a lot of flavor, so it'll be really, really tasty. Now we're just going to put our lid on our crock pot. It's on a very low heat. I'm also going to cut up a carrot and throw again, and just put the lid on again, like cheeky. So that's going to go in for about 6 hours. I have it set for 6 hours, really the longer the better. You could roast it for 8 hours, even 12 hours. You just gotta use a slow cooker. The longer you roast it for, the more tender it gets. The easier it is to pull apart, the more delicious it gets. It's roasting in not only its own juices right now, but also all those ciders we put in, so it's infusing a ton of flavor into the pork. It's going to be quite delicious to pull apart. This is really a very easy recipe. The thing that it requires more than anything is time, not really a lot of effort per se. In the meantime, let's talk about the album a little bit. So this is the Eagles' greatest hits from 1975, and it has a lot of excellent tracks on it. But it also has some pretty boring tracks on it. Desperado is probably the most boring track in my opinion.
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? You've been out riding fences.
And I know that's certainly controversial for a lot of people, but I don't really care. It just doesn't do it for me. Take It to the Limit also is I've got to say, it's a pretty boring track.
I was thinking about a woman who might have loved me, and I never knew.
I do like the swells, and I like the Take It to the Limit part. And that's about it. The ending's fine. But for songs I really like, Lion Eyes, it's a personal favorite of mine. Big of a Story song.
She must go out for the evening to comfort an old friend who's feeling down. But he knows where she's going as she's leaving. She is headed for the cheating side of town.
It's, I don't know, I just like the way it sounds. Take It Easy sounds like a Steve Miller Band tune.
Well, I'm running down the road trying to loosen my load. I got 7 women on my mind. 4 that wanna own me easy.
It kind of sounds like Rockin' Me.
I've been looking real hard and I'm trying to find a job, but it just keeps getting tougher every day. But I got to do my part.
Already Gone is another standout. It has possibly my favorite instrumentals on the album. And One of These Nights is a very, very groovy song.
One of these nights.
It's a really, really strong track.
Someone to be kind to in between the dark and the light. Coming right behind you, swear I'm gonna find you. One of these
It is absolutely criminal that Hotel California isn't on this album, but it actually came out the following year in '76, so I guess I can give them a pass this one time. The album Hotel California is actually absolutely fantastic in its own right. So now for the barbecue sauce, we're going to just take 3 barbecue sauces and mix them together. We're going Bullseye with Guinness, Old Diana sauce, and some Sol Gochujang sauce, and we're just also going to use some Dijon mustard. We're going to mix those 4 together and put in some melted butter as well. Stir that all nice and good, as well as just a bit of juice from the actual brine liquid, so mostly just the cider it's been soaking in, as well as some of the fat really, and just the juices that have come out of the meat. This is going to be quite delicious as a barbecue sauce, but obviously very simple. I'm barely making a barbecue sauce at all. Now what I'm doing is I'm shredding apart all this pulled pork. It looks really, really nice all shredding apart, and then we just cover it in white sauce. So most of the flavor here is actually coming from the various ciders we poured in. Not so much the barbecue sauce, it's taking up all of those delicious apple and blueberry and those flavors, and that's just making it nice and ugly. Now I'm going to take some of the mac and cheese I made in the previous episode on Trooper, which I had on the side with this, and I'm going to make a nice delicious sandwich. So you just saw me do that. There's the sandwich, looks great, and there's the pulled pork in front of the album for the thumbnail. Looks delicious. And there you go, guys. That's how you make pulled pork inspired by the Eagles' greatest hits. I thought this pulled pork was really, really tasty. It absorbed a ton of flavor from the cider. It tasted really fruity. I thought it had a bit of a rustic feel, as pulled pork tends to, a bit of a rustic southern feel, which is a lot of the vibe of this album and why I love this recipe. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out my episode on Trooper, where I made the delicious mac and cheese that was also featured at the end of this video.